This is Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for September 16, 2024. The Cambodia Securities Exchange Index was up 0.52 points or 0.13% to 411.39. Total trade volume was up from Friday, with 74,015 shares changing hands at a total value of 474 million real, or over $116,000. 3 stocks were up on the main board. Pestec Cambodia led the market, up 2.49% or 60 real to 2,470 real per share, followed by the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority, which was up 0.90% or 60 real to 6,720 real per share. The Sihanoukville Autonomous Port was also up 0.17% to 11,880 real per share. On the downside, the biggest loser of the day was the Phnom Penh Autonomous Port, dropping 1.73% or 240 real to 13,660 real per share, followed by Grand Twins International, down 0.52% or 20 real to 3,800 real per share. Cam GSM was also down 0.41% to 2,420 real per share. The 3 remaining stocks on the main board, MJQ Education, Akleda Bank, and Royal Group Phnom Penh SEZ, remained flat. Over on the growth board, both stocks were up. DBD Engineering was up 0.48% or 10 real to 2,080 real per share, while JS Land was up 0.87% or 30 real to 3,490 real per share. The Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority recorded the highest trade volume of the day, with 34,272 shares changing hands at a total value of 227 million real, or around $56,000, making up approximately 44% of September 16th's trade volume. Akleda Bank recorded the second highest trade volume of the day, with 29,910 shares changing hands at a total value of 223 million real, or roughly $55,000, accounting for 38% of Monday's trade volume. In other market-related news, B2B Cambodia recently had the chance to interview Nick Oknya Dr. Meng Lee Jae-kut about MJQ Education's listing and performance on the exchange, how becoming a listed company has impacted the operations and governance of his company, as well as the overall IPO process in Cambodia. MJQE was the first private education institution to list on the Cambodia Securities Exchange, as well as one of the first companies in the country to list overall. Moving on to the exchange rate, the Khmer Real to USD strengthened slightly to 4,054 real per US dollar, while the US dollar index was down to 100.67. Looking at global commodities, oil prices stabilized on Monday as ongoing disruption to US Gulf oil infrastructure balanced persistent demand concerns after a fresh round of Chinese data, while investors await news on US interest rates this week. Brent crude futures for November were up 23 cents or 0.32% at $71.84 a barrel. US crude futures for October were up 32 cents or 0.47% at $68. Gold prices surged to record highs, driven by a softer dollar and expectations of a larger interest rate reduction by the US Federal Reserve this week. Spot gold was up 0.5% at $2,588.29 per ounce after hitting an all-time high of $2,589.23 earlier in the session. US gold futures edged 0.2% to $2,615.80. US stock index futures were flat to slightly higher on Monday as caution prevailed ahead of a pivotal monetary policy decision by the Federal Reserve later in the week, with investors pricing in a steep reduction in borrowing costs. Ever since U.S. Federal Chair Jerome Powell hinted at an upcoming rate cut last year, markets have embarked on a bull run, with the S&P 500 and the Dow now near record highs. The S&P 500 is less than 1% away from its July record and could notch a new all-time high this week. After a rough start to a historically weak September, the 3 major U.S. indices ended last week's trading session in the green, with the S&P 500 and tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite just closing their best week of 2024. As of the time of the Cambodian market's closing, S&P 500 futures hovered just below the flat line, while futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 78 points or 0.2%. Nasdaq 100 futures edged lower by 0.1%. This was Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for September 16th.